came back. 10 of them said, "There are giants in the land. We cannot go up." There were 2 spies with a different spirit. They said, "God's promises are true. The covenant he gave to our forefathers is still valid." The world says, "We must give land for peace." We say, "Christians must stand with Judea and Samaria." The world presents a biased and negative representation. It is now time for the Joshua and Caleb Report. Stories from the heartland of Israel.
Batya, I want to go all the way back to the beginning stories of you coming to Israel and your family making Aliyah. Can you tell us all the stories you got from the very get-go?
I grew up in Ma'ale Adumim near Jerusalem, very urban. So urban actually that, that when I asked for my mother, I wanted to have a dog, she said it's torturing animals. And then I went to my father to ask him, because that's what I used to do when my mother said no. And my father said if I have any energy to grow anything, I'd have another child. So I didn't know anything about animals, of course not about growing anything at all. One day I came to visit a friend of mine in the middle of nowhere in an organic farm. You have to take a bus and then hitch 5 different rides on the way. And I got there, and when I got there, I felt this is the closest place to God I can get. And I will come back here. I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know, because I had all my life planned at the time. But I need to look for a space and time to come back here. And as soon that one course I studied got canceled, I decided to come over for a month. It turned out as a year. And then I got married. And then I came back in 6 years. And
so let's break that down into increments here. So first off, you're a city girl, to put it bluntly.
Yeah.
And for me, that's fascinating to see where you are now, considering you were a city girl. But let's go back to like that little girl in the city and say you're talking to your friend and you say, when I grow up, I want to be a.
I don't think I ever had an answer for that. I know I wanted to get married with a clown.
Seriously?
Yeah, so he'd make me laugh, yeah. I didn't have any plans. Of course, it wasn't anything like that.
So as you got
I
older,
didn't know it.
You may have had other plans, like maybe when you got 15, 16. You said you came out here, you had plans. Like...
I was supposed to be a social worker, yeah. I paid for university already. This money is lost.
Really?
Yeah, because I worked in the farm for a while, and I felt that if I'll leave now and go study social working, I didn't finish what I started here. I didn't complete. I didn't study enough about the animals, about the goats, about the diseases, about the farming, and I want to stay here longer. And after a while, I realized, what am I going to do in an office? It's a great job, it's a great thing, but not indoors, not right now, and I'm going to stay here. And also I saw this guy at the first dinner. After a while we got married, but...
Tell us about how you met and the whole story of the wedding.
Well, it's a long story, because the first night I saw him, I guess I knew, but I didn't want to know. I was supposed to get married at the age of 35 and on, and I was only 19 and a half. So for the whole year I was here, nothing really happened. I'm very religious, so when I left and he wanted us to go to a certain place for Shabbat, I don't talk to guys if I don't work with them. So I had to tell him that it's either we date or it's nothing. So we started dating, and after 2 dates. He wanted us to get married. So it took a little longer.
Wow.
A little longer, 3 months.
That's awesome. Where did you get married?
And we came back to get married in the farm on the grass. It was beautiful, and all of my urban family came here, and they were very shocked, very shocked. My friend just stepped in with her high heels on the grass. She just started dancing. She sprained her ankle, and so that's her memory, because it's grass.
So you uprooted yourself from the city, came out to just out in the nowhere farms, and have rooted yourself down here. I want you to tell now about your family and how you've started here in this hilltop.
I don't know, we lived here in a trailer until one morning they called us and they said, listen, we're bringing in 2 trailers. You have to move in 2 hours. Is it okay? Because if not, they might rip it off. So they put it in at 5 a.m. and by 7 a.m. we moved everything into the second trailer. It was the day before Rosh Hashanah. And Rosh Hashanah, the first holiday, was 3 days straight, because 2 days of the holiday and then Saturday, we had 10 guests, because they were the soldiers that aided us, and we don't have enough people for praying together. So we had to have some guests to complete 10 people, so we moved in. And I'll live there happily ever after, till 120, but my Yaakov wanted to build a house. And I don't know, because 2 bedrooms, it's enough for me, and it's a little scary because building here, you can't get a loan from the bank. But he wanted it, so I said, okay, well, we'll take different loans, smaller loans, we'll complete the one big one, and we'll build the house. And after 8 months, I suddenly noticed I have a house, and then I helped a little bit. And I'm very, very grateful, because it was just after I gave birth with my second boy. We moved in, and again we moved in, and we had, I don't know how it happens, but we had 20 guests 2 days after we moved in.
Seriously?
Yeah, and all for help of a few good people that came to help us move over the stuff, because I had no idea how will it be possible.
Okay, Bat, you were sitting on your little 5x5 square of grass here. This is probably the only grass on the whole mountaintop. But explain about this particular point where we're sitting right now and why it's important to you.
Well, there's Jordan behind me, and Itamar is 15 minutes driving from here. The idea was definitely not mine. I just joined in this movement, is to create some kind of connection from west to east, from Ariel, from Itamar, from Mediterranean in the beginning, all the way to Jordan Kingdom. So you have a whole straight territory. And how it goes is that you move from one hilltop to another till it's settled enough you can move on. So this is pretty much the last spot. The next spot, they're still in tents. A lot of farmers here, a lot of farming, so that also expands the place, because you need a place for shepherding, you need space for growing your vineyards. You need to drive to the kindergarten, and if you don't have a car, you need to walk for 2.5 hours with a stroller. It happened. Yeah.
So wait. You're one of those radical hilltop settler youth that I'm hearing about, like on the BBC and stuff. Is that would that be your title?
Radical.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I don't yank out olive trees and brush my teeth with air blunts, if that's what you're looking for. I just change my kids' diapers and have my boring life. Pretty much it. It's nothing interesting. I know.
Wait a second, aren't you like carrying a gun around here all the time and like worried for like crazy stuff's gonna happen any moment? And
I'm a Jewish mother. I'm supposed to be worried, but no, not really. My parents bought me, they're still in the city, so they were very scared when I moved in, and they bought me a gun. They gave me a gift, a Passover gift, a gun. So I had to do the license and stuff. But it's most of the time it's locked inside. I guess sometimes there are warmer, more intense times that you want to carry it around, but I'm too lazy for that.
Batya, I want you to expound on, if you can, the movement of claiming the land. You know, it's all known as the settler movement, but you have had a big part in that, and I want to know more details.
Okay, it's not a big part, but it starts with Avriran, that he decided the settlements, they used to be a bunch of families. So you have 10 families, but it's supposed to be 300 families and 400 and 1,000 families, and to grow into maybe a city, maybe not. And when he came to protesting against the Oslo agreements at the time, he decided that just shouting is not enough, and us Jews need to leave the fence because we're all so used to the ghetto. So he decided to leave the fence and to just live in the middle of nowhere. First he came in with a few families to a place called Hanekuda, the spot, because it doesn't show in the map at all. And they lived there, and they grew up their coop and their animals, you know, just having normal life. But when it got too crowded, then a lot of people came to visit, and it was too much noise for them. So it's also a little story in a big story, but they decided to move on to the next spot, which will be...
You were one of those people that came, right?
After 3 spots, like 851, it's called Mount Gideon, but they moved to Givot Olam, and I joined in Givot Olam. But it's not only us, it's a movement that started, it became larger than we are, because 851, also a different hilltop named Alumot started, and at Givot Olam, a different hilltop, this one, 777, started by a different guy. And he said, hey, everyone here is religious. I want to create my own place here and to be part of the movement of the land without being religious. And he came to Avri to ask for permission. And he said, okay, but you really need to be serious about it. You really need to sleep here every night. And he came here and he moved here and he started, they lived in a truck in the beginning named Tupac. And after...
So that's how a community would start. You're driving in a truck and he's holding down one hill and they keep moving.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be a community. It starts with one family. When we moved here, no one understood why are we going so far away, because it's even further than our 2 or 10 neighbors we have. But now there's another family in between us, so it gets closer, and there's the new neighborhood of 777. It's over there. There are 2 more families there, so it's expanding, and one family decided to move really far away. They live an hour walking from here. There's no really road going there, so it's only walking. The idea is still to get to Jordan Valley, because we can already see the houses in Gittit and Male Ephraim in Jordan Valley. So
you tell me, what's the main motivation behind you desiring to be here? I mean, why would you build a house out in the middle of nowhere here? You mentioned earlier about the movement of the land, returning to the land.
First of all, it needs to suit. I mean, just something that you feel in your heart that this is your place and this is where you'll be calm and you'll be completed and you'll be as helpful as possible. You know, the best person you can be, I guess. Second of all, I think it's the creation, because we see all around us that there's land that is, no one lives here. I mean, I know everyone likes to believe that it used to be Arabs living here, but the truth is no one used to live here. There was nothing here, nothing except for one, hole to collect water.
A cistern.
Cistern. Right here, I have one here in my garden, yeah. that brings us back 3,000 years ago to Joshua, to Israel that came in to settle the land, to put some grass on all of these rocks to grow stuff here. I guess it's a religious movement, I guess.
So Batya, not so long ago, about 3 years ago, Itamar became kind of a spotlight for world media when it came to the Fogel family. And for you, obviously, you live here. I'd be interested to hear like an insider story of what really happened.
Wow. Yes, I was actually at my parents' house, and Shabbat, Saturday, and the minute Shabbat left, I got about 10, 15 calls calling me, are you okay, are you okay? And of course I'm okay, why wouldn't I be? And then I came home and I found out about the Fogel family and about the terrorists that climbed into Itamar through the fences. It was shaking. And of course, we in 777 we don't have a fence at all. Itamar, they have a fence. We don't have a fence. We didn't have a door because we had a lack of money. We built a house and we're a young couple, so we didn't have a door for a year. And it was very scary for me. I think less than her neighbor is a friend of mine. She left Itamar for half a year. She took her baby, her daughter. She left for Kfar Saba for a half a year. Her husband stayed here because they have animals and someone needs to take care of them. For her, I think it was more of a question. I mean, I asked her, why aren't you leaving? I mean, because she was really traumatized. Every phone call, she thought something is happening. She was really scared, and in the end, she came back here. She lives here. She's expanding her house right now. She's building more, actually. And I asked her, why aren't you leaving? And she says that she feels after what happened, she cannot leave because it's her place. It's a very famous saying in Hebrew. Eretz Yisrael niknet beisurim. The land of Israel is bought with suffering, which is horrible. It's not what we want that will happen. We never want something like that to happen ever again. But after a family gets killed, what can we do? I mean, we're not going to kill anyone. So what can you do with that? So we decided to build as much as possible to show life, trying to kill us. We will live, and we will live as much as possible. So in Itamar, they build a huge building of a yeshiva, studying Torah, and a synagogue, and a street, and a new neighborhood, and now they're building a new neighborhood. For us, we bought a door. It's a bit slower, but I don't know. I don't see any difference. It's a bit stronger, it's a bit harder, but the idea and the way is the same. We know it's hard. Driving 15 minutes for kindergarten, for taking mail is hard. But I think I decided that I'm going to live. The minute I'll die, but as long as I'm living, I'm going to live. And I'll have my grass and my flowers and my happy children here.
That's a beautiful attitude to have. Can you tell us more about what you're doing right now? What's Yaakov, your husband? What are you and the children?
So I have two boys. One is 4.5 years old. His name is Gideon. He's going to kindergarten and he's studying the alphabet. I'm very excited, the ABC. My little boy, Malachi, he's 2 years old now. He studies in Itamar and daycare. I'm a tour guide all around Israel. But this is, of course, this is my baby, the Shomron. Yaakov is a student right now. He used to manage the farm, the goat. in Givot Olam. Now he decided he's going to be a student for politics and media, to pull the strings behind, hopefully.
I want to wrap this up with asking you, what are your dreams for the future? What do you see this place looking like one day?
At the time, well, when the three guys were kidnapped, not a long time ago. So my boy was old enough, like with the Fogel family, they were too young to understand anything. But he heard about them and he asked me, are they going to kidnap Abba, Yaakov? Are the kids okay? And I said, we should pray, and we prayed for them. And in the end, he asked me after a while, are they okay? And I told him they were found and they are dead. And he asked me, how come, I prayed for them. So it's a very famous answer that we ask for something from our dad, and he can say no. To tell you he feels it has to do anything with him, nothing. He runs around. It's what I dreamt as a child, to run around and to have some space and not neighbors and not outside. And I can be calm when he's going to his friend, to my neighbor, because it's a small place and people won't kidnap him, and God forbid, because he's not in the cities. He's in a safe place. He's in between our community. I don't know if there's an answer, but people are happy people, I guess. They feel calm. My boy has a dream. He says when he'll grow up, he'll build a colorful house next to our house, and he'll marry me. Yeah, we have a dream. We want everyone to be here. We want to have a lot of a peaceful world, and to be sure that we'll leave the house and come back, but no one has it today. No one has it. All around the world, you never know what's going to happen. We want to be able, I want to be able, before I die, to look at myself in the mirror and to know I did as much as possible, and I helped as much as possible, and I was the best Batya I could ever be. That's it.